Tonight we begin in Somalia, where the death toll from Saturday's massive truck bombing in the capital Mogadishu, the deadliest terror attack in the country's history, has topped 300. Information Minister Abdirahman Osman tweeted Sunday that 276 have been killed, with about 300 wounded. Angry protesters marched to the scene of the attack Sunday, condemning the terrorists. Some protesters wept as they reached the scene and saw the apocalyptic aftermath of the explosion. The demonstrators denounced the Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab, which often claims attacks in Mogadishu. The group has so far stayed silent on Saturday's attack, but the Somali government and terror experts strongly believe the group was responsible.
This was a tragic incident, and it's a sign that Al-Shabaab continues to target innocent civilians. The Somali public need to know more than ever of the group's evil plans. Today, it has once again attacked civilians in a populated area.
The government has called for 3 days of national mourning and lowering the flag at half-mast. A U.S. State Department statement said the United States condemned the attack in the strongest terms. Among those wounded in the attack was VOA reporter in Mogadishu, Mohamed Abdullah. Now, for more on the bombing in Mogadishu, I'm joined by Mohamed Hassan, VOA Somali service reporter. Mohamed, very welcome to you to Africa 54.
Thank you, Esther.
Now, Mohamed, Al-Shabaab has not claimed responsibility for this massive attack. Who is responsible?
I believe Al-Shabaab is responsible, and this situation is similar to that of Shamo Hotel or Hotel Shamo in 2009, where a group of newly graduated medical students were killed, and of course, including some about 3 government ministers. So I believe it's Al-Shabaab now because of the huge catastrophic incident that happened. They're assessing the public opinion, and the issue at hand is not that they did not claim. The issue at hand is that they did not denounce, they did not reject, they did not refuse it. So that's the key point, I think.
Absolutely. Usually they will claim responsibility, but this is massive. They haven't claimed responsibility. However, how are the rescue operations going on? Is Somalia receiving the help that is needed right now from international community or even the regional leaders from the countries around
Actually,
there?
the Turkish government took the initiative to send a plane full of doctors and equipments like ambulances. Also, in that plane was the health minister of Turkey, who was leading the effort. And about 35 people were flown to Turkey for further, treatment. Also, Djibouti sent about 30 people, consisting of doctors and nurses and other medical professionals. So, yes, there is some international and regional help, but I think it's not enough.
It's like Turkey is the one that has really come out to rescue, to give out aid to Somalia. What about the regional countries there? And what is the relationship between Somalia and Turkey? I find that geographically kind of very interesting.
Yes, lately Turkey has actually intensified its presence in Somalia and also its relations with the Somali people and the Somali government. We remember when the current president, then the Prime Minister of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, visited Mogadishu during the famine. So that's when the whole thing started, and now it's intensified. And we've reported that there's a huge military base that was built in Mogadishu recently. That was opened in, I think, last week.
Now, Mohamed, one of our reporters was injured in this bombing. What do we know about his condition?
Yeah, as you said in your introduction, it's Mohamed Abdullah, who was reporting us from Mogadishu. He got wounds in his face, on his neck, his right hand, and he was one of the fortunate 35 people who were flown to Turkey for further treatment. But his general situation is doing well. We interviewed him yesterday. We interviewed his wife before yesterday, and his situation is not critical.
Very briefly, what can the government do now to protect civilians?
Actually, the government is weak enough to, but it can ask for outside assistance, like, training for their counterterrorism forces. also they can, mobilize people and create some neighborhood watch groups where, like people can do, like see something, say something type of the U.S. Because it's the people who, who are suffering first. So they should be the first to take the initiative to report any suspicious activities they have seen in their neighborhoods.
Right. Mohamed, thank you very much for your insight on this. Mohamed Hassan is VOA's Somali service reporter.